Hello and welcome to the WhatCar.com podcast. This week, we've come to London. We're going to find out just how kind Chancellor Alistair Darling has been to the motorist with the announcements from his latest budget. We're also going to speak to Steve Huntingford to find out how he likes his very cute Toyota IQ, and some very lucky members of the reader test team are going to give us their views on the brand new BMW Z4. So what did Alistair Darling announce in the budget? Well, it's a case of good news and bad news. Good news in as much as the scrappage allowance has come through, and bad news in terms of the petrol price rise.
The scrappage scheme is expected to come into effect on May 18th. You'll get a £2,000 discount on a brand new unregistered car, but the car you're scrapping will have to be at least 10 years old and you'll have to have owned it for at least 12 months. Dealers will take care of all the paperwork, but unfortunately we're not sure yet which manufacturers will commit to the scheme. As soon as we know, we'll tell you. Bad news when it comes to petrol price rises, as a 2p rise in duty will come into effect from September.
Full details of how this budget will affect you as a motorist, go to the news pages of WhatCar.com after the podcast. Now, yesterday we were able to pull off a little bit of an exclusive. We had members of the WhatCar.com reader test team over to our studios to find out what they think of the brand new BMW Z4.
The new BMW Z4 has supposedly been designed with the female in mind, more stylish curves to appeal to the female owner and driver. It also replaces two cars in one. Gone are the coupe and convertible models, and instead we have a folding hardtop roof. The new BMW Z4 goes on sale in May and prices start at £28,645. But how will the reader test team vote?
What I like about it, I love the look of it. It's very curvaceous. It's a sexy looking car. It's certainly better than the a little bit pretentious SLK.
Well, aesthetically pleasing, it's a vast improvement on the previous model. The previous angular lines have been softened a great deal. Without doubt, it's got to be the continuity of the crease line, which runs from the bonnet across the roof and into the boot.
The one thing that I would change on the car is BMW have included cup holders in the armrest. I sort of feel that a car like this is supposed to be driven. You should have both hands on the steering wheel, really driving it, and you don't really want your cafe latte spilling all over the passenger seat.
Well, it's got to be the roof. The roof is fantastic. I mean, the ease of which it actually folds down and drops into the back of the car, and the car looks superb with the roof down. The actual button to put the roof down, you have to hold it down, and I'd rather just be able to click the button and it goes down.
Do you want to know just how good the BMW Z4 is to drive? I'm not going to tell you. But what you can do is go to the first drive section of WhatCar.com right now and find out for yourself.
Now, in this credit crunch era, it appears that small and funky city cars may be making a bit of a comeback. Our road tester, Steve Huntingford, has been spending some time with his new Toyota IQ.
I've only had this little Toyota for a couple of weeks, but it's already made a big impression. If you live in London, which I do, it's ideal. The steering's light and easy, the turning circle's fantastic, and you can squeeze it into almost any parking space. Inside, the IQ is very cleverly packaged. It may be small on the outside, but I've had 3 adults in here. Just don't expect to get a 4th one. The engine also struggles a bit when you've got passengers on board. The IQ is surprisingly refined at speed, and the ride is much better than the rival smart cars. As a city commuter, the IQ should be ideal for my year ahead.
On next week's podcast, we've got Roger Stansfield driving the brand new Audi A5 convertible. We also hear from Ewan Doig about living with What Car's Car of the Year, the Ford Fiesta, and a roundup of all the motoring news.